Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and a man with far too much free time on his hands. This is not a test. This is a random review.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel. Welcome back to the review stage. Now, a little bit ago, I did a video for the Spinosaur Shockwave, and it occurred to me, it's probably not fair of me to review just that toy, and not review the more interesting toy in the wave, which is this Scourge. Now, granted, this is unlike any Scourge we have ever seen. It's unlike any Transformer we've ever seen. In the history of transforming robot toys, we have had but 3 pirate ships. The first was from Webdiver, and that gave us Galleon. The second was from Metal Cardbot, which gave us Black Hook or Steel Hook, depending on which side of the Pacific Ocean you bought it from. And now we have a third, and appropriately enough, there's thunder rumbling over me as I'm going through this, as if delivering some ominous premonition. Yes, Transformers finally has a transforming pirate ship. It took them long enough, and they put it in the simple kids' toy line of all places. So, let us take a look. For starters, we do have a lot of color going on here. We've got some dark purples, we've got some teals, we've got some like very pale seafoam greens. We have a hair trigger that I didn't mean to set off. So yeah, we have some Scourge coloring to it with the dark blue, like this is almost like a indigo. It's between a purple and a blue. So we have some Scourge color there, but for the most part, this is a unique color scheme to Transformers, and the translucent purple of the Energon accessories are setting it off as well. I do like how this conveys haunted pirate ship, because it's not enough to just be a pirate ship Transformer, it's got to be a haunted one too. So we have these translucent purple wings and elements to it that look like ethereal flames. It's a really, really neat design choice. We'll talk about those in a second. Let me get them off to the side so we can see a clean version of the pirate ship. Arguably, the sword needs to remain there to be a little bit more accurate, but we can take that off too and just get like the ship itself. Now, admittedly, this is a pretty neutered pirate ship. Those sails are not going to fly it, I guess flying those sails are not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was going for. But, hey, the intention is there, and it's an aquatic Transformer. We don't get any aquatic Transformers. It's nice to actually see one. So, overall, yeah, you can see the drapings of the cheaper kids' toy line. The arms are not very clearly disguised, nor are the thighs. The legs, they're just kind of there, forming the general shape of a boat. So I'll give enough credit that for a cheaper toy, this is at least conveying the image properly. And there is some sculpting that is still giving you this more aquatic aesthetic. These fins in the back and more up here that are more robot mode detail, but they give this like sweeping motion to the vehicle mode that I do like. And then you have, you have some nice things on the side. I don't think the life rings should go on the side like this. I feel like if you're this far down the side of the boat, you're already done. But we do have the ports for the cannon sticking out. We have nice chains sculpted in. Yeah, it's giving very, very retro pirate ship, and I absolutely freaking love that. Okay, so it's a Cyberworld toy. Transforming this guy is absolutely nothing. There's nothing to it. So let's just get this out of the way. So I'm going to rotate the rear half down. That is going to automorph the chest and the head at the same time. Make sure that is nice and snug in place. And then just open him up and lower the arms. So, yeah, completely automorphing on this one. Which, luxury of having an inexpensive toy line that can get away with things like this. So, nice, quick, simple play pattern there. If you're interested in a interesting transforming pirate ship, I would recommend one of the other two options. That is going to disappoint some people. Now, I know this is the kids' line. Transformations like this are not a shock. Cyberworld does do quite a few auto changers. So the fact that this one is larger and still does that is going to disappoint some. It's not a huge surprise to me, frankly. He does look at least relatively clean. He does have a big old chest for the front of the boat, so give him that much leeway here. But the rest of him doesn't look too bad. It's got a bit of a backpack, but nothing horrendous or anything. Let me show you the head sculpt on this guy. So you've got Scourge in there. Like, you can see the blue helmet in there. You've got the mustache and beard. Like, that part actually rings true to Scourge. And then we've just added a pirate hat and an eye patch to everything. Yeah, so it is an amusing take on him. I will give it that. I do like it overall. And it's weird, right? Because, like, we know 3 different versions of Scourge. This one is obviously based on the G1, and yet this is a completely different take on the character. And Cyberworld is good at doing that, but, like, it's not like Jazz has, like Jazz became a polar bear, but they didn't add, like a fur coat design to him or anything, So this is the biggest departure I've seen so far. It is a wild design choice. Coloring wise, I don't mind the layout so much. I wish there was a little bit of color in the upper arms to kind of separate the shoulders from the forearms a little bit. I also really wish these shoulder pauldrons came up. Like, this design here on the shoulder is just screaming to be raised up like that and act as like shoulder armor. And the articulation for it just isn't there, which is a shame. But, again, I can only defend it as a cheap toy so many times. Like, they should have absolutely been able to do something like that. It's one separate piece and one extra hinge. It's not a big deal. Okay, so if we get into things like articulation, you know the drill. It's a Cyberworld toy. You have ball-jointed shoulders, you have ball-jointed hips, and you have a knee bend, which, frankly, is actually pretty obstructed on this guy. I cannot get much of a knee bend on him at all. So yeah, he is purely just a one-step gimmick former, which is going to disappoint a lot of people. Even basic articulation that Cyberworld should be capable of is lacking here. He's like, I'm trying and everything. Like, I don't know. I don't even see what is stopping the hinge from actually bending any farther down. Because it looks like there should be range in that joint. There just isn't. So something internal on this side is stopping it, which is silly to me. So yeah, unfortunately, even for Cyberworld, his articulation is limited. Now, he does come with trickery. I will actually show you the gimmickry to the toy, which is, if I push this down, the chest opens up to reveal the skull and crossbones with some translucent purple inlay. This, I will admit, is one of the creepiest design choices I think I've ever seen a Transformer toy do. I'm opening up his chest to reveal a skull that is radiating Energon. It looks like, again, it's conveying the haunted design very, very strongly, which is not something I normally expect out of a Transformer toy. So, I will give it that. It's one of the cooler visuals I've seen a toy do. It has to do a lot of heavy lifting. It's got to do a lot of heavy lifting to save this toy for any collector just hoping to get an interesting toy. But, it's a fun little gimmick for the kids, so I can't really argue that much. I mean, it's nice to have a little feature like that actually does seem to have some character to it. Actually, like, drive home this idea that this is a haunted Scourge. Which, if you go into G1 of, like, this used to be somebody else, you could actually play around with that idea. We do have a little bit more we can do, because obviously there are accessories. So the mast itself does have a 5mm port here. It has one down here at the bottom, a 5mm peg here, 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 and here. So he's got lots of ways that he can hold this or mount this. I will generally put it on his forearm as some kind of cannon shield. That's about the best I think you can do. But again, there's so many ports across this one. You can combine it with all manner of things in order to get something else that you would like. I almost want to like have it like mounted right here, almost like it's a war flag on like Shogun armor. I can't though. There's no peg for that, unfortunately. Now, he does have the translucent accessories, which these do have their own trick mode to them as well. Though I will admit I haven't put it together in a hot minute, so if I can't remember how to do it, you will excuse me. But essentially, it's not as interesting as other ones we have seen. I believe all we really get out of it is just a combination of flames that is supposed to invoke the boat mode, but does not quite. It's almost like it's supposed to produce like a smaller, like a ghost boat or something. I don't think this is right. I don't think I've got it right. But honestly, like compared to the one that you can do out of like the little drone that Shockwave makes is a lot more interesting. Let's put it that way. This one was, it's not an interesting combination for these. These really are designed specifically for enhancing Scourge as much as possible. So, for instance, we have, these little, like, translucent flame bat wings, which we're going to mount on his shoulders. That gives his shoulders the outward width that I was actually hoping for. These, I think, officially, on the images, they mount on the legs, but we're going to go ahead and put them on the forearms, because I want to keep that... I want to keep the upper body kind of looking like it's a flame, like, and we'll open up the chest to kind of add to that as well. Now we're getting into something looking pretty cool. Yeah, so like that, like that, like skull and like spiritual, like Energon coming off of the chest, the flames bursting out from his sides. Like this conveys, something about the toy. Like, I will say, transformation is lacking because it's automorph. If you like the automorph, okay, fine. You get a fun little gimmicky thing. And even for Cyberworld, the articulation is woefully lacking. But the benefit to all that is this conveys character. Between the head sculpt, the vehicle modes, little details, all the things you can do with this particular armor, like this, more than a lot of Transformers, just has character that I don't just see. I immediately get what this character and design is all about just from observing its fully weaponized robot mode. And that's not something Transformers is particularly good at these days. So, yeah, I will give it this. Toy-wise, if you're after a Transformer experience, this guy is a letdown. He is a novelty at best. But if you're looking for a simple Transformer that just conveys an enormous amount of character and aura, this one actually does deliver. And it's one of those where I would love to have a customizer go nuts on something like this. Just paint up the chains, give it like the traditional like pirate ship brown or dark, almost black color in vehicle mode. Really see what this thing can do when it absolutely shines. But I will leave that to someone better at a paintbrush than I, and I will leave the video at that. So, that's Cyberworld Scourge. It's a fascinating figure as a character, but not very compelling as a Transformer toy. You're going to want to pick up Steel Hook instead for that. But that's going to be it for me today, so thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.